In this video, I'm going to give some tips and advice for new falconers. And it doesn't just have to be new falconers, experienced falconers are welcome to stick around too. If you're looking for advice on how to get into falconry, then I already have videos about that on the channel. These points are more to help you on your journey. My first piece of advice is to make sure you subscribe and stick to the end of the video for a potentially controversial piece of advice. My actual first piece of advice is also kind of a pet peeve of mine. Learn the correct language and terminology. I've said this multiple times before on the channel that falconry has its very own language, and if you're serious about taking up falconry, then you have to understand the language. You wouldn't ever catch a surgeon mid-operation saying to their team, just pass me that thingy-majig. During your falconry journey, you're gonna be reading and hearing a lot of terminology, and having a good knowledge foundation early on will help you out massively. Many books have a glossary at the back, and I recommend you also pick up a copy of the Encyclopedia of Falconry. To begin with, make a point of flicking through the dictionary, encyclopedia, or going to the glossary every time you don't fully know what a word means. Don't just skip over a word thinking it might be explained later on, or just taking a guess at what it means. And trust me, this extra work is absolutely worth it, because it will make future reading and conversations a lot more natural to follow. And don't just learn it, respect it. Respecting the language and using it properly will help you to stand out and gain respect from experienced falconers. It's not a Jessie, it's a Jess. It's not a Perry Lanner, it's a Peregrine Lanner. These are little things that just wind me up. Golden Eagle, not Goldie. Chilean Blue, it's a grey buzzard eagle. They're small examples, but experienced falconers will be able to tell when you've put that effort into respecting and learning the language. My second piece of advice, following on from that, is to make sure you actually read. Reading books, online resources, articles, and even stories. There is some great information available out there for reading, and it's not just in books. Websites like A Future of Falconry have a great list of books, including more general reading as well as more species-specific books too. Some of my favourites include Understanding Birds of Prey by Nick Fox and As the Falcon Her Bells by Philip Glazier. And I'm currently reading The Lanner Falcon by Giovanni Leonardi, who very kindly sent me this copy for free. As well as books, there are some great articles available completely free, including a couple written by me. You can also pick up some great magazines like Pursuit Falconry and World of Falconry, full of interesting articles from falconers all around the world. Again, including me. Third piece of advice is to make time. No matter what stage you're at, even if you think you are years away from actually getting a hawk, make time for falconry. Having a bird of prey is a huge commitment, and once you've got her, you don't have a choice. You need to invest time into her care and management every single day. Whether it's cleaning her bath and aviary, weighing and feeding, or going out for some exercise flights, she is going to require your time daily. If you had already been dedicating, say, an hour a day to falconry, whether it's reading a chapter of a book, practicing with furniture, going to club meetings, or even just watching videos like this, by the time you have got a hawk, you are already in a routine of finding time for her, and life with a hawk should neatly fit into the routine you have already created. As harsh as it sounds, if it's just not possible for you to find this time before getting a hawk, then maybe you are not in a position to take up falconry. My next piece of advice is proper prior preparation prevents piss poor performance. Proper prior preparation prevents piss poor performance. There is a huge list of things you need in order to keep a bird of prey and take part in falconry. And you should have all of it before you get the physical bird. Seriously, the actual bird should be the very last thing you get. And that includes telemetry. This is the thing that I hear most of as an afterthought, or a thing that people think that they don't need straight away. I personally think it's a dangerous way to go. If you don't have telemetry before you get a hawk and think that you will get it once the hawk is ready, then you potentially will end up keeping her on the creance far too long, making that step to fly free so much more daunting than it needs to be. You'll also limit her ability to gain proper fitness and really find her wings. And then, even more dangerously, you might be tempted to just have a go at flying her free without telemetry. And that is a really bad call to make that will result in you losing all the hard work you have put into her. Having absolutely everything you need before getting a hawk will make your journey with her a lot smoother and relaxed. It's very annoying getting through one stage of training and realising you can't progress because you don't have the right equipment and having to put everything on hold. Following on from that, make sure you have got land permission before you get a bird. Don't think, it's fine, I can start early training in the garden and then go and get permission when she's ready for some proper flying, because permission is never guaranteed. And this is the step that many people find very difficult. You really don't want to find yourself in a position where you have bought everything, started training a hawk, and then you find out the only place you can ever fly her is in your garden. Take your time. If you're looking for a video on tips to become a falconer fast, then this is not it. It's okay to take your time. Do not rush into anything, and don't let other people rush you into anything either. You really don't want your first bird to be a second hand, which means you have to live by the breeding season anyway. If you're not ready for the upcoming breeding season, just wait for the next one. It might feel like ages telling yourself to wait for another full year, but if you're doing all the correct preparations in that time, it will fly by. And you will thank yourself, because being properly prepared for your first bird's arrival will make your life and journey together a lot smoother. My next piece of advice is to surround yourself with the right people. I strongly believe that your falconry journey, knowledge, practices, and even behaviour will hugely be affected by the people you surround yourself with. Don't just settle for someone saying, "Come on, grab the iris, let's go smash some bunnies," with a hawk that has all of its feathers broken and continuously baits off the glove. Even if it's your best mate who has convinced you to join in, go and find yourself the right crowd. I'm not saying to ditch off all your mates. I just want you to keep in mind that there could be people out there willing to show you a much higher standard. And this is something I have very much learnt from personal experience. When I started in falconry, I accepted everything my mentor told me, and I took on all their practices and habits. 3 years into my career, I chose to surround myself with a totally different crowd, and I'm not joking, it was reality shattering for me. I had my eyes opened to a completely different level of standard. Knowing what I know now, if I think back to the ways I did things in my early career, it baffles and embarrasses me. And I've not spoken to my original mentor in about 5 years now. My final piece of advice, and this may be a controversial one, is it's not all about falconry. I know that sounds so strange in a video literally titled Advice for New Falconers, but stick with me. There is an incredibly annoying divide between traditional falconry and modern animal keeping and training practices. And with you being new to falconry, you are in the perfect position to start bridging that gap. I find that falconry very much keeps itself in a bubble, and there is so much modern research out there on animal behaviour and training that you just won't find in most of the falconry materials. don't limit yourself to just falconry knowledge. Some non-falconry books I've found helpful are Animal Training by Ken Ramirez, Zoo Animal Learning and Training, and one I'm currently reading, Don't Shoot the Dog. And again, it's not just about books. There are some great videos and societies out there that will give you a whole new perspective on training animals. You just have to pop that falconry bubble and get out there and have a look. If you have any questions about any of this, then please leave it as a comment below. And if you are an experienced falconer and think that there's something alarmingly obvious that I missed out, then put that below too. It might even appear in a part 2. Make sure to subscribe, become a member for early access for videos and a private chat with me and other members. And for now, thank you for watching.